food. Grow as much as you can, as often as you can, and as long as you can. Hi, I'm Annette and welcome to Kitchen Garden Farmhouse. I'm excited to present to you today a difference between seed starting mix and potting mix. I'm going to have lots of good information along the way, so it would be beneficial to watch the video to the end. Let's get started. As we're getting ready to sow our seeds for our garden, choosing the right soil is important for our garden success. So really, what is the big difference between seed starting mix and potting mix? Or that word also can be interchangeable with potting mix soil or potting soil. So in this video, I'm just going to call it potting mix. Seed starting mix is a blend of ingredients that's very lightweight, and it's made specifically for seed germination for our fruits and vegetables. Now, the absence of nutrients or fertilizers in a seed starting mix may seem counterintuitive. However, it serves a very important purpose because young seedlings are very sensitive to high concentrations of fertilizers or nutrients, and actually too much of it can cause an issue known as damping off, which is a fungal disease which will cause the seedling to just collapse and die. In a seed starting mix, what provides the base, the foundation, is either going to be peat moss or coconut coir or a combination of them both. Both of these are ideal ingredients because they're going to provide a good aeration and also water retention. Okay, the next ingredient is going to be either vermiculite and perlite or a combination of them both. Now, both of these increase porosity, so they're going to facilitate some good drainage and more oxygen to the roots of our plants. Vermiculite is very excellent in holding on to some of the moisture, whereas perlite is very good in facilitating more drainage. So we see a good seed starting mix provides a good environment and good texture for those seeds to sprout and to start growing. They really do not need any nutrients after they have formed their first set of true leaves. Once our young seedlings have outgrown their seed starting mix environment, this is where the potting soil mix comes in at. It is time to pot up those seedlings. And the potting mix is going to provide a really good versatile growing medium that's going to supply support and nutrients to our established plants. So this is where the fertilizers will be becoming more effective once we get into the potting mix soil. Now, there are lots of similarities between a seed starting mix and a potting mix soil. It's still going to have your vermiculite, perlite, peat moss, coconut coir, a combination of any of those ingredients. What really sets the two apart is what are you going to amend your potting mix soil with. Compost, any kind of fertilizers, whether they be the commercial or whether they be the organic, and there's lots of different things that you can add in there, whether it be worm castings or any other things that you may like or desire to put in with your potting mix soil to aid in that plant to grow the best it can grow for that season. This is a very well-known seed starting mix. The ingredients in this well-known seed starting mix are sphagnum peat moss, vermiculite, coir, and lime to balance the pH. Also, concerning your potting mix soils, I went to Home Depot to compare some ingredients. And no matter which bag I looked at their store, every bag said the same thing on the ingredient list. It said also contains one or more of the following ingredients. So by it making that statement, we really don't know what we're getting. It has this list of ingredients, but it is not saying which ingredients is in that bag. It just says one or more. There are lots of good soil recipes out there making a good potting mix soil. And most of that is going to be contingent upon what you're growing in that medium. One good recipe was put out by Mel Bartholomew that made up the Square Foot Garden, and that recipe calls for 1 part peat moss, that's your sphagnum peat moss, and 1 part vermiculite, and on that you would need to use either the medium or the coarse grade, and then 1 part compost. 2 parts sphagnum peat moss. Here's the second one. 2 parts compost. 1, 2. In 2 parts vermiculite or perlite. I'm using perlite today. 1, 2. And just mix this all together very well. Now, when you're using your spag and peat moss, keep in mind you definitely can use your coconut coir or a mixture of them both. Now, when you're using the spag and peat moss, it has a tendency to repel water, but once it really starts to soak it in, it really holds the moisture a lot better. And with that, now I'm going to add some water. You just add a little bit at a time. You want it to be like a wrung out sponge. Now in this potty mix soil, we have the compost and we have the spag and peat moss. The spag and peat moss has a tendency to be acidic, whereas the compost has a tendency to be neutral, around 7. But we always need to check our pH. That combination was really good because look at the pH, it's around 6.5, 6.6. Today's video, I use a half a gallon jug as a part. You can use anything as a part, be it a quart jar or a 5-gallon bucket. It doesn't matter, just use the same container as a part as you follow the recipe. In this recipe today, the neutral pH of the compost really balanced out the acidity level of the spag and peat moss. So I don't have to add any lime to this recipe to do anything different with it. The big reason why the pH of the soil or the medium that you're growing with needs to be good is because if it's not, that plant is going to struggle to grow. The pH is what helps bring the nutrients up to the root zone so the plants can absorb it. If the pH is off, the plant will struggle. Do you have a favorite recipe that you like when making a seed starting mix or making a potting mix soil? If so, leave some comments below. Thank you. When making up my seed potting mix, I really do not like to add the granular fertilizers to the mix at that point, because if I do, if I add it to the mix and mix it all in, that fertilizer is going to be throughout the mix, even at the very bottom. So I feel like it's a waste for me because as I water that plant, the water is going to kind of leach out those nutrients through the bottom. Whereas when I plant the plant and I add the granular fertilizers at the top and just kind of mix it in the first 3 inches of the soil, that would give it a better chance for those roots to benefit from that fertilizer as the plant continues to grow, as the nutrients begin to trickle down through the soil. If you have not done so already, please take a moment to subscribe. Giving the video a thumbs up, leaving a comment, and sharing the video with others will help the channel to grow. Thank you, and I will see you in the next video.